Nick, you need to sing your praises. Dead on. Give me good to go for this. You hear it? Oh, really? Yeah, yes, you're doing your homework there.
Yes, a very good afternoon to you, and you're welcome to Parnell Park here in Dublin. It is the opening weekend of the Go Ahead Dublin Senior Hurling Championship, and the action gets underway very shortly with the opening game in this evening's double header in Group 2. We begin with Group 2. It will be the meeting of St Judes and St Vincents on quite a pleasant Saturday afternoon here in Dublin. A little bit overcast, slight breeze blowing right down the field from right to left as we look at it, but by and large conditions absolutely perfect, with both teams just concluding their warm-up routines, and any moment now the action will be getting underway. Already this weekend there have been opening round wins in the senior championship for Ballyboden, St Enda's and Na Fianna. They got up and running here yesterday evening, beating Ballyboden St Enda's beating Plunketts, and Na Fianna getting the better of Whitehall Cullenkills. We'll hear a little bit more about that as the evening goes on. Owen O'Donnell alongside me on co-commentary. But first we take a quick check on the teams, beginning with St Jude's, slight outsiders going into this first round game, and the names that jump off the team sheet. No surprise, Danny Sutcliffe, number 12, he's the player on whom so much expectation as always will rest, and Fionn O'Rian Bryn back in action as well after an injury layoff, and he will lead the St Jude's attack wearing number 11. So they go in as outsiders. St Vincent's, we'll take a look at their team sheet now. And again, the names to watch out for right up the middle: Conor Burke at the heart of the Vincent's defence, the Dublin County player; Rian McBride in midfield alongside Stephen McCarry, and up front the names John Heatherton, Mark Sweeney and Keith Connolly will be very familiar, I'm sure, to many viewers, and they're the players to whom Vincent's will be looking to for scores this evening. Owen, we've had a quick check on the teams, and as I say, it's the usual suspects, the household names that people will recognise, and they're the players I'm sure you're looking forward to seeing in action as well this evening.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to be here, and like you said, it's a perfect day for hurling. Looking at the team sheet, St Vincent's are very strong on paper. They've a massive spine there with Conor Burke, Ryan McBride and Keith Connolly. They're all big and physical throughout the middle, so they'll be looking to get a good early start into this championship. So like you said, just Judes are small outside favourites, and they'll be really relying on the likes of like Danny and Sutcliffe and Fionn O'Rian Breen to try put some scores up. So it's just a question of Vincent's getting the matchup right in them.
Just maybe to look back on yesterday's games first before the action gets underway here. You had to sit out the Whitehall game with that hamstring injury. Your rehab program, I know, is well underway, but give us your thoughts, your impressions. Second best against Na Fianna.
Yeah, unfortunately I was missing myself, and we had a few other injuries along the way, and we're just at that stage where we need everyone and we need to perform at 100% against the likes of Na Fianna's, but we still probably didn't perform the way we wanted. But the great thing about this Dublin Championship is that it's a group stage, and we still have 2 games to get ourselves back on track, so we just get back on the horse and go again. But Na Fianna, credit to them, we're very strong, and they'll be looking to be thereabouts come the end of the year. And probably the same story with the Ballyboden Plunketts game, that Ballyboden's class just speaks for itself, and although Plunketts are making massive progress, maybe Bowden just a step too far last night.
And as I mentioned during the scene set, Vincent's would be expected to win here this evening as well. They're another team I'm sure that will have an eye on getting through to the knockout stages. Is that the way you see it as well? On paper, Vincent's the team to beat in this first game this evening?
Yeah, absolutely. And if I was Vincent's, the main thing I'd be looking at is how to shut down the Judes threat, and really Judes are going to be relying on Danny Sutcliffe, so if you can get on top of him, you go a long way to beating Judes. And that's an easier task said than done, but it's hard to be a one-man army up there at stages. So Danny has a lot of pressure, a lot of talent, but a lot of pressure on him coming into this.
So the team's getting into position. Don't forget, if you're watching this evening and you want to get in touch, you want to tell us what you think, you want to ask why don't we ask Owen anything over the next couple of hours? There's an idea. Just use the hashtag GoAheadDSHA if you're on Twitter, or you want to get in touch, as I say, to let us know what you think. But first off, we've got a double header here this evening coming up at 6 o'clock. It is the meeting of Coola and Kilmacud Crokes Right now we're watching St Vincents and St Judes. Our referee Peter Smith from O'Toole's gets us underway. It's Vincents in their very familiar white jerseys with the blue stripe, playing from left to right. Here on the ball is John Heatherton, making early incision, looking for Keith Connolly, but referee Peter Smith blows his whistle over carrying a let off for Judes and an early warning for Judes as well, Owen.
Yeah, and just looking out, it looks like there's two number 12s on the pitch for Vincent, or maybe the 13 is hard to read, but it was David O'Callaghan, apologies, that was James Mulcahy. He's a quick corner forward, Hedge be of the bigger stature, so hard to get them mixed up going forward.
Yeah, good spot, Owen. It is, of course, John Heatherton out here in front of us. Danny Sutcliffe claims the first puck out, lays it off nicely to Kevin Lehiff. Dangerous looking move. Just lost the ball though in the traffic there. And here's Dara Perry, the St Vincent's goalkeeper and captain, looking to link with Mark Sweeney, but he just tiptoed out over the sideline here in front of us as he tried to get that ball under control. And it will be a sideline cut to St Jude's. Danny Sutcliffe is standing over it. Slight drizzle starting to fall here at Parnell Park, but hopefully it will pass fairly quickly. Game still in the settling down stage.
Interestingly enough, Mick, that Vincent's have brought a lot of men back. That at the moment there's currently only two Vincent's forwards in their half the pitch, so they seem to be dropping men behind the ball.
Here's Mark Sweeney running from deep, just to emphasise what Owen mentioned. Lays it off to Owen O'Neill, strikes it just away to the left and wide. There's a slight indication of that breeze. It looked a good strike from underneath us, but just caught in the wind. And the puck out relatively quickly taken by Ross O'Reilly. Picks out Kieran Mangan, and now John Carty. Thought about the short pass, takes on the shot. He's about 55 metres from goal, and there is the opening score. Beautifully struck by John Carty.
Yeah, and that's a great start for Judes. Their plan will be to stay in this as long as possible. They'll be targeting the first water break, bringing it to half time, and they're on. So, Vincent's probably a little bit unsettled. Goal chance missing, a point missed there, so they'll be looking to get a score soon enough to settle themselves.
Puck out target here is John Heatherton down underneath us. John Carty applying the pressure. Referee spotted a strike across the hand of the Judes man. Last appeared in a county final, St Jude's, back in 2015. Lost out to the defending champions Coola, who've gone on since to build something of a dynasty in the Dublin Championship. As Vincent's just overcomplicate things back in their own defence. Ball turned over and now in the hand of Danny Sutcliffe. And as always, he's looking to make something happen. He does. He's won a free, and for Descent, the ball has moved in a little closer.
Probably a harsh enough free now from up here at the vantage point, but maybe as a full back I always have a bias that you want to see the game played a little bit more freely. But interesting enough, Danny Sutcliffe on the frees here with Fiona Breen on the pitch. He's normally an ace free taker.
So it is the distinctive figure of Danny Sutcliffe. We saw him in action, of course, just a few weeks ago in the All-Ireland series. Dublin losing out to Cork and exiting the championship. But that's a lovely, crisp, clean strike from Sutcliffe. And that now means Judes ease themselves into a 2 points lead. We're heading towards the 5th minute of the first half. Here's their number 9 again, John Carty. He's been really busy. Links here with Gerard McManus, the team captain, long-serving defender. Has the confidence to play it right across the half-back line to Jesse Kennedy. And he in turn brings Ross O'Reilly into the game. Lovely ball out right into the hand of Kieran Mangan. Judes have settled very quickly here as Alan Connolly drills it into the heart of the Vincent defence. Well cut out by Mark O'Farrell. And here's Conor Burke, the man who will act as the linchpin of defence and also be expected to start quite a few of their attacks as well. Ball breaks kindly here for James Mulcahy. He's the man who had that early electrifying run, but this first shot at goal from him is out to the right and wide. And again, we see the breeze there not exactly helping him.
No, and I've been impressed so far the way Judes are playing. They're trying to move the ball into the right positions, and they're not trying to get rid of it quickly. They're playing with confidence, which is good to see, and it looks like we're settling into a good game here.
Ball zipping around Parnell Park. It's going end to end. Darragh McBride put a lot of height on that ball, perhaps too much height. It was again hung up on the wind initially and then dragged away. That's now 3 misses from Vincents from a variety of positions and angles, just taking a little longer than they'd like to settle, as Jesse Kennedy feeds this down into the corner, looking for the run inside of Kieran Hogan. Lovely ball across the centre, looking for the run of Kieran Mangan. Ball breaks to David O'Callaghan, gets it under control, shoots on the run, and Judes fly into a 3-point lead, a first of the evening for David O'Callaghan.
Jude's off to a great start, but Vincent's really not clicking so far. They have a lot of wasted opportunities, still haven't gotten the scoreboard. There was a bad wide by Darren McBride, a player of his calibre. He was one of the under-20 stars who'd be looking to get on the scoreboard there.
I see number 19 out there for Vincent's as well. Rory Finn may have snuck into the game unnoticed before the start. In any event, Vincent's on the ball, played through by McBride. The chance here for his brother Darragh, re-into Darragh, and the shot flies across the face of the St Jude's goal. Another chance gone a begging.
Yeah, and it might have been better just taking his point there to get them into the game, and here Jude's go again.
Jude's puck-out's coming thick and fast. O'Reilly to Orion Bryn. Lovely finish. Well, as you mentioned earlier on, he's missed quite a bit of hurling recently, but nothing wrong with his touch or finish.
No, Fion's hurling has always been top class. He's 25 years old, 26 now, and his hurling has always been one of the finest in the county. Well,
if you're a St Jude supporter, or perhaps you have them in an accumulator, or you fancied them in advance, well, certainly they are living up to expectations. 7 minutes into the first half in this first round game in the go-ahead Dublin Senior Hurling Championship, and they've made all the early running so far, tipping along 4 points in front. Here's Thomas Connolly getting on the ball for Vincents, looking to open their account, and that flies high, straight and true between the posts, and there is their opening score.
Yeah, and the credit goes to Keith Connolly there, who chased down the Jude's player and got a hook there where he probably mightn't have in other situations, so Keith was the man that set that up there.
Keith Connolly, by the way, who has been given the job of trying to police Danny Sutcliffe. Again, St Jude's react quickest to the breaking ball. That's Kevin Lehiff, and that is point number 5 for the outsiders coming into this game. They lead 5-1, and that's a first for Lehiff.
Yeah, and like I mentioned earlier, Jude's, the way they're trying to play the ball out of defence is really skillful. They're playing with and a turnover like that just lifts the whole team, and you can see the Jude's players getting in on top and making sure Vincent's know that they got a good turnover there.
That was really good pressure by Joseph McManus. He forced Mark O'Farrell, the Vincent's fullback, into overcarrying. By the way, 4 of the St Jude's forwards have scored already from play. Lehiff, Orion Bryn, Sutcliffe and O'Callaghan. As up steps Danny Sutcliffe, and he's hit that with plenty of height. In fact, with so much height, it's gone over the net at the back of the goal, over the stand and out of Parnell Park. So Jude's or Vincent's, one of them, down a Schlitter already. 8.5 minutes gone. Jude's lead 6-1.
And the classic trying to slow down the game here with the keeper taking off the boot. I'm not sure there's any injury there or anything. They're just trying to gather their thoughts and try to get a game plan going here.
So a second Schlitter has been retrieved. Dara Perry, the Vincent's captain, has recovered his composure, and away we go. Picks out his target, Darragh McBride. Here's his brother Rian again. Shooting, setting his feet and just trying to loft it gently down towards the Jude's goal, but it's a combination, I think, of over anxiety and that swirling wind that's causing the problems. Another miss for Vincent's as Danny Sutcliffe gets on the ball once more for Jude. Now he's starting to get into a flow and into a rhythm. Down into the corner looking for Joseph McManus. The Vincent's defenders double up on the corner forward, but ball out over the sideline off the hurley of a defender, and a chance for Judes to keep the pressure on. But the bad news for Vincent's, Owen, as I mentioned, is Danny Sutcliffe. You can see the shoulders opening, the confidence is up, and he looks like he's mad to get on ball as that sideline cut flies across the face of goal and wide.
And the really positive thing for Judes is, like you said, is that they've 4 scorers on the board, and Danny hasn't really clicked into the game yet, and once Danny threatens that and gets himself more involved, Vincent's could be in bother.
So the first 10 minutes have come and gone. Judes sitting comfortably on a 5-point lead. Nice ball forward there by Darragh McBride to Rian, the brother again. Here Thomas Connolly, dangerous move from Vincents. Goal chance, buried by James Mulcahy. Well, he tucked it away beautifully. It was a lovely move. The McBrides combined, Thomas Connolly too, and the finish was emphatic.
Great finish by Tom Connolly. He started the run here in front of us in the half-back line and just kept going. And that's the issue with hurling these days, is that leads are very fickle, and for all Jude's hard work, to be only 2 points in front now is a bit draining. So hopefully they can add a few more scores to the board now.
Well, it's taken almost 11 minutes for the first goal to arrive. Judes try to hit back quickly just to reassert their dominance, but that effort from Kevin Lahiff flies away to the left and wide. So the gap cut to 2 now. Jude still in the driving seat, but Vincent's an awful lot closer. Puck out from Dara Perry, lands right into the left hand of John Heatherton, who gathers, turns and scores. Beautiful strike.
Quality score from Hedge out there, and that's just the class he has. He's a great target man on them puck outs and has the skill then to turn and put it over, and you can hear the Vincent's crowd getting behind him now. Things have picked up a gear.
Well, that goal would seem to have energised Vincent's all right. They're looking to go to a county final this season for the first time since 2010. It's been quite a while, too long they would feel, since they have been in the mix, in the shake-up for the county title. Looking to build and go again this season as Danny Sutcliffe gets on the ball, shoots off his left-hand side, just drifts away to the right.
Yeah, probably just turning away from goal with his back to it was a difficult shot. But definitely, like we said there, the energy and the noise from Vincent's has picked up massively here.
Just taking another look at the Vincent's goal there. Beautifully created, beautifully finished, and it has definitely got them up and running. They were just struggling in the early stages to put scores on the board. Jude's doing most of the hurling and certainly most of the scoring. But how quickly things can change. And now, as we head towards the end of the first quarter, it is a 1-point game. Jude's 6 points, Vincent's 1-2, and very quickly it could become a level game for the first time.
Yeah, that's a common trend we've seen in hurling matches, that leads can be taken back very quickly, and Judes will want to tack on a couple of points now before the water break, but Judes still are trying to do the right thing. They're obviously have worked massively on this short passing game. They've gone short in a lot of puck outs, and they're trying to work the ball to the half forward line instead of just turning and lumping it. So both teams are in the game now, so hopefully it keeps going in this way.
So James Mulcahy, it was the Vincent's free taker that has knocked over the equaliser. He's operating at the moment in the middle third of the field, wearing 13, but drifting forward almost unnoticed at times. Just spotted the referee Peter Smith there going in to have a word with an umpire, just keeping an eye on things down in the Judes defence as Judes break quickly. Another good puck out. Their puck out strategy working nicely. Ball recycled back to Danny Sutcliffe. He is of course the primary shooter, and after 1 or 2 near misses from open play, Danny Sutcliffe's account is open, and that's now 3 in all for him. 2 frees and that lovely effort from play.
Yeah, really good. It was a really good team score, that they worked the ball to the right position, and even when they got crowded out, they had the composure to find the person in the shooting zone, and Danny obviously the skill to put it over then.
Owen McLaughlin, as Judes tried to isolate their full forward Kieran Hogan. Coming across here to meet him is the full-back Marco Farrell. Got a good shoulder in just to knock Hogan out of his stride, and the ball taken clear by Rory Finn. Support from John Heatherton, gets his head up. This time it's Vincent's turn to try and isolate a man inside. That was Keith Connolly, but too much pace on the pass. Connolly unable to get there. You could see what they were thinking, all right. They're looking to spread that Jude's back line, take them out of their comfort zones, as it were. That time not to be. A rare misplaced puck out. This provides Vincent's with a chance to draw level again, but James Mulcahy just snatched at that shot a little. and that flies wide as well.
No, I'll have to go back to Mark O'Farrell's big hit there, full-back. It'd be remiss of me not to mention it. It's great to see that kind of play. Really good shoulder.
Well, as they say, it takes one to know one. So Owen O'Donnell already giving the 5-star rating to Mark O'Farrell. He's an old school style full-back, O'Farrell. He's watching now like the rest of us as John Carty lines this up and fires it away to the left and wide. Well, there's been chances at both ends that have been missed now, but it's all part and parcel of the first round, the opening weekend of the Senior Championship. Everybody just a little ring rusty as our referee just grabs a quick word with Fionn O'Rian Bryn there, and I think he's decided as well now, as good a time as any, to call for the first water break. 15 and a half minutes in, and that gives us Owen a chance to reflect on some of the highlights that we've seen in the first quarter.
Really good game so far, Mick. Has to be said that a lot of people might have said that Vincents were heavy favourites, but Judes have come out very strong. They're playing a really nice brand of hurling, passing the ball around, trying to get it to the person in the right position. Having said that, Vincents could be a lot further ahead on the scoreboard if they had taken their chances when they could early in the game with their wides. But you can see they're clicking through the gears now towards the end of the first quarter.
Well, certainly early on it was all Judes. That score from David O'Callaghan, one of the pick of the bunch. But slowly and surely, Vincent's got up and running, as it were. Now, there's one of the missed chances. That was Derek McBride who blazed wide of the target. And you do get that feeling that whoever goes on, based on the first quarter anyway, whoever goes on to lose this game, they may well look back at these early stages at all these ones that got away.
Absolutely. And we're just looking at Tom Connolly scoring that point, and he's probably been the standout man for Vincent so far, even though it's early days. Has been very composed on the ball back there, scored a point and made a really good 60-yard run to set up the goal. So he's been playing very well so far. And it's funny that Vincent's don't seem to be man-marking Danny as such, that it's whoever's the closest man to him, and that can sometimes work. But for a man like Danny, if he gets a couple of chances, he'll put them over and make you pay for it.
Well, here's the Vincent's goal again. It was a lovely build-up, and it was just beautifully created, the way they sucked out the cover and created the opening, and the finish was beautiful, low and hard, and really gave Ross O'Reilly no chance.
No, and I have to say that Ross has been very good. I know he hit one puck out of stray, but has been picking out his man, and his puck has been long into space, so he's done a good job so far.
So the second quarter is up and running again. You'd imagine, though, Owen, overall, Judes will be absolutely delighted. So little expected of them coming in, but they've really made a game of it. And just as I say that, here's a chance for Owen O'Neill, and that is a terrific score. Level again, level for the second time now.
Yeah, and Owen has redeemed himself. He had a wide in the first quarter there, so he'll be happy to get his name on the score sheet.
So we're right back to square one here at Parnell Park. Don't forget, if you'd like to get in touch with us at any stage, just use the hashtag GoAheadDSHA. As down the middle came Thomas Connolly, but he's left the Schlitter behind, just quite literally there, took his eye off the ball. Won back by by Joseph McManus to David O'Callaghan, and that tackle was just a little high, a little too clumsy for Peter Smith's liking. And Judes have another shot at goal, but that's been a feature of the Judes play so far, Owen. The way their forward line has been busy, they've put pressure on the ball carriers, and they've created quite a few turnovers already. Yeah,
absolutely, and that was probably just as the commentators curse as we praised Tom. He was looking up to find a run and hadn't realised Fiona chased him down. But again, Jude's playing the ball to the man in the right area, and David Callan, who's been lively so far, just ducked ahead, and probably similar to his namesake Dotsy, drew the foul there.
That's another free for Danny Sutcliffe. He's up to 4 points now for his efforts so far. He's also, for the second time, knocked the Schlitter out of Parnell Park. Just remembering there where I've parked my car, down behind that goal. Man could be down a windscreen very easily this afternoon, the way these frees are being taken. But away we go again. Judes, well, they're back in front. I'm not quite sure if the scoreboard operator has caught up with us or not, or perhaps We might need to just check that last effort from Danny Sutcliffe, but by my count, if that was a score, then that would put Judes a point in front.
Things are starting to heat up here, and that's a great battle inside between Kieran Mangan and James Mulcahy. James Mulcahy got the goal, but it's kind of laid on nicely for him, and Mangan's got in front for a couple of balls so far. So nice little battle inside between them two very fast, small players, and they're having a good old tussle.
Well, I'm not quite sure about that last free from Danny Sutcliffe, Owen. It looked over. It hasn't gone onto the scoreboard here, though, so perhaps Danny Sutcliffe put too much height on it, but it hadn't the accuracy.
Yeah, I thought it was over, to be honest myself. I looked away to see what else was going on, so I didn't see the umpire raise the flag, so we'll have to get clarification on that at half-time and see what the score is with that.
Well, let's go with the scoreboard for the moment. As Owen said, it's still early days, so 7 points to 1-4. Back there for Vincents is Keith Connolly. Very unorthodox looking pass. He's gone right back the field and he's put a couple of his teammates under pressure. Thomas Connolly trying to bail them out, pulled on it first time, drives it in towards the full forward line, intercepted by Kieran Mangan. And nicely done by Judes as John Carty works it out of danger to Gerard McManus, who sets his feet. He's well inside his own half. That strikes the post, comes back into play, and the first man to react is Kieran Hogan. He's been chased after by Mark O'Farrell, and Mark O'Farrell does really well again there, the big fullback. Support from Conor Burke, and the ball blocked off the hurley of Kieran Hogan and out for a sideline cut. But you can sense, now into this second quarter, the pace is starting to quicken and everybody getting more up to speed.
Definitely, and Judes are bringing a big intensity to that forward line. They're trying to get turnovers, they're trying to hunt down and turn over the ball. So really good style of hurling from Judes. I have to say I've been very impressed with them. They probably didn't operate as well as they would have liked to in the league. They consider themselves a top team and will be hoping to compete in Division 1 from here on in. So a great start from them.
Nice touch there by the Vincents man. It was Brian Bulger who got it out of that congested area, and here he is again, Brian Bulger, trying to scamper away from the closest man to him, Kevin Lehiff. Now support arrives from Gerard McManus, also chasing back David O'Callaghan. McManus does really well, and with a short stick pass, Judes are out of trouble. Ball played forward into the corner, in towards Joseph McManus. Just pushed off it. Good pressure again on the ball carrier. Less and less time now, Owen, by and large, for everybody to get that ball under control and decide their next option.
Yeah, and that's the second time Kieran Hogan has made a big dash out and tried to turn over, and that's the second time Judes have got a free off a turnover they won. So these are all great scores for Judes to be ticking the scoreboard over. And when you're back and you lose the ball coming out and you're looking at the scoreboard going up, it drains your energy, and it'll only boost Jude's energy as well.
So Danny Sutcliffe shoots and scores, and that is point number 8. And that is point number 4 for Danny Sutcliffe. Not 100% sure what happened with that last one. We can only assume that he hit it with such height that it hadn't the accuracy. So 8 points for Judes, 1-4 to Vincents. And the energy and the work rate of the Judes forward line starting to pay off, although their defence has not been found wanting either. Here's another chance they've created. Danny Sutcliffe on the run. Well, he's in one of those moods where he's prepared to shoot from everywhere and anywhere. He's being marked at the moment by Owen O'Neill, who has switched across now to take up the job, but it's quite a handful.
Yeah, and Jude's really at the pitch of the game there. You could see that the ball went out over the sideline, and straight away they got the ball back into play as quick as they can, and it takes confidence for a team to try these short sidelines that I know a lot of teams will try put the ball down and chip it 20-30 yards in. But if you can keep and retain possession on these puck outs, they're a very, very valuable set play.
So Vincent's making a change, and Rory Finn has been taken off here after 22 minutes, and it looks like Robert O'Sullivan wearing that yellow helmet there, who's come into the match. So already Vincent's not happy with how their team is performing, looking to change it up as Thomas Connolly races back to pick up that loose ball initially. Vincent's now, I think, just sensing it's time to up the ante and up the pace. They're a point behind. Ball worked out to this right hand side to Owen O'Neill, trying to feed a diagonal ball, but he's hit it into no man's land. Nearest Vincent's player to the delivery was Keith Connolly, and he was a good 30 yards away. Raced across to do his best, all right, but there were 3 Judes defenders back there in that patch of ground as Kevin Lahiff just dwells on it a fraction too long. That allows the Vincent's men in to get around him. John Heatherton is one, Mark Sweeney the other. Ball is eventually picked by Mulcahy. Manages to slip it back outside to Derek McBride, who shoots off balance over his shoulder and over the bar. Wonderful score. And this time it's Vincent who bring the work rate and the intensity and get the payoff.
Yeah, and Derek McBride with the finish there, and he's one of the big stars coming through in Dublin GA. He was on the under-20 team that won the Leinster final and unfortunately did very well in the All-Ireland, but lost in the end. And he's a real talent, a big, strong player, well able to win his own ball. So he's a great prospect for us coming through. Again,
pressure applied in that middle third. It's becoming more and more a battleground as this first half goes on. Broke kindly for Mark Sweeney, the Vincent's number 15. He's been fouled. And while a lot of people in advance would have expected maybe on this game to go a certain way, even Stephen, and I think the scoreline speaks for itself.
Yeah, Judes obviously didn't read the script, but that's exactly what we want. And you know, the Dublin Hurling Championship has a lot of competitive teams, and that's what brings on everything. So the more of these tight competitive games we have, the better for everyone.
So a yellow for Kieran McLaughlin, the Judes wing back. He's in the book, first man to be booked by Peter Smith so far. Lucan Sarsfields and Setanta, they're the other 2 teams operating in Group 2 of the Go Ahead Dublin Senior Hurling Championship. Right now we're watching St Vincents and St Jude's looking to make a winning start to their 2021 campaign. Lovely strike by James Mulcahy. Another one for him, and Vincent's go in front, and by my count they're in front for the very first time, and we're 25 minutes into the opening half. Already Ross O'Reilly's puck out is gone, and inside the Vincent's half of the field. Again, it's there for whoever wants it, and the man to emerge with it is Thomas Connolly. Very good hurler, big, strong, very tidy, and he brings Dara Perry, his goalkeeper, in, and Perry goes long up towards Heatherton. Ball breaks off him into a Jude's hand. McManus, nice ball down the sideline here in front of us to Kevin Lahiff. Brother Tom plays with the Dublin County footballers. Kevin Lahiff shoots, and Kevin Lahiff should really have scored from that sort of range, but not to be. Jude still chasing that 1-point deficit.
Yeah, and the pace of the game is quite high, Mick, that both keepers are getting the ball off short, and the ref is letting the short puck out go very quickly. So both teams looking to take advantage and getting the restart off very quickly.
Yeah, both teams looking to keep the tempo high as that ball is played in by the substitute Robert O'Sullivan. Foot race won by Owen Grant, the Jude's fullback. He's having quite the battle in there with Keith Connolly on the edge of the square. Vincent's are asking a lot though of their big full forward. They're pumping ball either side of him into the corners, and you can just see he's looking for it to be a lot more direct.
Yeah, and he's at a disadvantage there as well, that Vincent's have brought men back, so he's quite isolated in there, that there's no one really around him, and Owen Grant is a tough, steady full back, so Keith will have trouble getting dividend there.
So about 3.5 minutes of the first half still to play. That's John Heatherton. Quite an unorthodox sideline cut, but it's worked out for Vincent's. Thomas Connolly was on the same page. Connolly gets it under control, shoots first time, and that's away to the left and wide. But he's been one of Vincent's best, if not the best performer so far.
Absolutely, he's even the flick there is lovely. He's a lovely touch about him. Disappointed with the finish, but he is definitely one of the men bringing the fight for Vincent's.
So now what can Judes come up with here? That's a very ambitious strike, and it's paid off in spades. That was Owen McLaughlin. Now, as sometimes happens, not all the jerseys, not all the numbers in jerseys correspond, and that's one of the mismatches, so to speak, in the programme. Owen McLaughlin down as 2 in our match programme, wearing 4, but no mistaking that strike from the corner back from Judes, and it's good enough to bring them level again, and that should get them going, you'd imagine, into the final few minutes of this first half, looking to up the ante and up the pace again. Right now, though, they're on the defensive footing as Connolly links with Mulcahy, looking to feed it through. Mark Sweeney looking to steal in around the back again. Sweeney shoots. Ball is in the net. And the green flag is raised. Well, Peter Smith for a moment there had his hand in the air. I think he had decided to play an advantage. It is taken with both hands by Mark Sweeney. And a lovely finish, low and hard, into the back of the net. Referee wants to speak with Jesse Kennedy. But 2 St Vincents goals in this first half, one as good as the other, and they really have shaped the scoreline and shaped the situation heading into the break.
Mark Sweeney is making a name for himself as a goal scorer. He obviously got that great goal against Galway in the Leinster final for the under-20. So a very strong runner with the ball, and you can see even the way he nudged his man just to get the couple of yards, and no mistake with the finish. Another very bright prospect coming through in Dublin hurling.
Yeah, beautiful finish by Mark Sweeney. As Owen said, came to national prominence really with the under-20s, lined out in that All-Ireland final earlier on this summer. Definitely, you'd imagine, will be on the radar again of Matty Kenny in 2022 with the Dublin seniors, and if he keeps scoring goals like this, well then he certainly will. But Vincent's 2-6, Judes 9 points, and when you consider it doesn't seem that long ago Judes were 6-1 ahead and making all the running. Well, this game has been turned on its head as John Heatherton breaks through. Vincent's men queuing up inside him. Heatherton still going, took too many steps and free out for overcarrying. Well, for a moment there it was a 3-on-2. It looked a gilt-edge goal chance, and Judes get off the hook.
Yeah, he was probably just unfortunate that he took one last turn in. Very powerful runner when he got going there. Difficult to stop, and in hindsight he'll be looking back at that and maybe if he shot first time off the left there, because he's such a powerful strike. But Vincent's just threatening there, and you know they're kind of open at the back. That Owen McLaughlin, cornerback for Judes, has followed out the pitch, marking his man, and is playing very well. But the price of that is that they're open at the back, and there's quite a lot of space in front of the Vincent's attack.
So we've ticked into additional time at the end of this first half here at Parnell Park. Again, a small crowd here to watch this first round championship game. Numbers limited due to the COVID-19 restrictions, but those that have turned up, got their tickets, paid their money and took their chance, well, they're getting their money's worth as Danny Sutcliffe gets on that loose ball. Lovely snapshot. Very few players could have executed that particular move, but Sutcliffe, the former All-Star, had it in his locker, and it's now a 2-point game. Lovely score. Danny Sutcliffe with 5 for the first half.
Badly needed for Judes. They needed a score. They just kind of gone into a small bit of a lull, and like you said, it was a quality score to shorten the grip. To shorten the grip and put it over. Sorry, I was watching Derek McBride there, who would be disappointed he didn't put that. But nice for Judes to get the last score of the half going into half time, and you know, no one will be throwing the toys out of the pram yet. They'll be both very much in the game and trying to get their game plan straightened out here at half time.
Well, it's been a first half very much of 2 quarters. Judes by and large dominating the first quarter, but a Vincent's goal really proving to be a sucker punch in so many ways heading into the first water break, and then in the second quarter much more like the Vincents we were expecting to see. The free taking of the likes of James Mulcahy has been absolutely spot on, and their big players own their big guns, their big hitters thundering into the game. And the longer it goes on, you get the feeling it'll be the likes of this man, Danny Sutcliffe, and Conor Burke, the McBrides. They're going to have a big influence on what happens in the second half now. They're the players that we'll expect to step up and bring it on another notch.
Yeah, and that's the worry for Judes, is that some of them players that you mentioned there haven't really clicked into the game. So if the likes of Rian McBride and Conor Burke come back into the second half and increase their game by 5-10%, and the likes of Hedgehoe and Tom Connolly, who's flying, but these lads have so much class and strength in their play that they might start to get on top of Judes. But have to credit to Judes that a lot of people, and myself included, mightn't have expected them to be as close at the half-time whistle. So really, really great surprise, and hopefully Judes can keep going, because we want to see a nice competitive game.
Certainly no shortage of highlights from this opening half. You're watching them at the moment, and as Owen said, it's been every bit as competitive and entertaining as we hoped it would be. This the first game in a double header here at Parnell Park, coming up at 6 o'clock. It is the champions Coola against one of the contenders, Kilmacud Crokes. There's a terrific St Vincents goal from Mark Sweeney. And the more you look at that finish, and as you mentioned initially, the way he spun the defender and tucked it away, it gets better and better.
It's just that extra bit of class to be aware of your surroundings, and he knew that if he could angle his body right and put himself between him and his man, it would give him that extra yards, and really top class goal. And like I said earlier, if he keeps making a name for himself like that, everyone in Dublin Hurls will be very happy.
Well, speaking of class, the highlights package there finished off by that lovely score from Danny Sutcliffe, which brought the St Jude's first half scoring to a close. So at half time in the go-ahead Dublin Senior Hurling Championship in Group 2, it is St Vincent's 2-6, St Jude's 10 points. We'll be back very shortly with the second half. So as you can see, St Jude's back out for the beginning of this second half. St Vincent's, in contrast, away to our left-hand side. They're still up in the terracing, going through their half-time team talk. Vincent's in no particular hurry to come back out for the second half. Now they're making a move, all right. But as you mentioned a few minutes ago now at this stage, Jude's very quick to get back on the field, back into position, and they look like they mean business.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit of a statement from Judes to be out waiting for them. Obviously with the COVID regulations, no dressing rooms or anything like that, so Vincent's just went up into the stand there behind the car park entrance. So both teams, I'd say, you could see the whiteboard out with Vincent's there, and they might be just changing one or two tactical things and getting a few matchups right, but we'll be hoping as a neutral for more of the same from the first half.
Just to clarify as well, we did double check at the break. That free from Danny Sutcliffe, that was a talking point. That was driven wide, all right. It seems that one umpire initially felt it was over. His colleague in a better position flagged it wide. That was the official call on it, and that explains the missing point, or the phantom point, as it were, during the opening half. And it's one of those ones, Owen, that you find it hard to get your head around. It was dead straight in front of the goal. It was a gimme. I think that's probably the best way to put it. But for some reason, Danny went for height and power and blazed it just wide.
Danny might have seen a Vincent's crest in the slit there and tried to put it out into the into Griffin Avenue there. But anyway, we'll go on, and I'm sure he'll be more than willing to make up for it.
Yes, stranger things have happened. So second half is underway. You're watching the Go Ahead Dublin Senior Hurling Championship Group 2, and you're watching St Vincent's and St Jude's get our second half up and running. Vincent's 2 points to the good, playing from left to right, looking to extend their lead. That shot from Darragh McBride away to the left. They will have that slight breeze behind them though in this second half, as the puck out from Ross O'Reilly finds Danny Sutcliffe. There's that trademark swivel to buy himself some time. Sutcliffe strikes, and the umpires in unison flagging it wide. You don't see that too often, where both umpires, synchronised umpiring we're watching. Yeah,
they must have heard our confusion over the free in the first half, and they wanted to send a message. But I know Danny put that wide, but that's the issue when you're not going to man mark someone like Danny like that normally he'll knock them over, and it'll be a cheap score for Vincent to leave him free and concede.
Just a quick score update from you from the other game taking place right now in the Dublin Senior Hurling Championship. At half-time, Fogs leading Scull by 12 points to 5. So Fogs putting down a very good first half's work going on that scoreline, 7 to the good. It's a lot closer here in Parnell Park, and a lot closer as well than many people might have expected. St Jude's very much giving as good as they're getting so far, looking to reach a county final this season for the first time since 2015. Lost out back then to Coola.
And that's Tom Connolly again, picking up where he left off in the first half. And you know, Tom's greatest asset is he's so composed on the ball, and he'll always have his head up and look to do the right thing. So he's really playing well for Vincent so far today.
So in case you've joined us late, the two Vincent's goals being scored by James Mulcahy and Mark Sweeney. They're very influential and incisive corner forwards, and really they're the scores that have made all the difference so far. Jude's yet to test Dara Perry in the Vincent's goal, as man who gets on the ball here is Owen McLaughlin. Nice ball, just delivered it the way that Alan Connolly would have wanted. Alan Connolly's shot agonisingly drifts away to the left and wide. Judes have missed a few chances now, and many of them not by a whole lot either.
No, and to be fair to both teams, there might be a stronger swirling wind than we think up here, that both teams shooting into that golf course end have had trouble. But again, Jude's very dominant there in the back, and have won a couple of frees to get out of jail as such, and Danny will try and make amends with a long range free here.
The linesman on the far side there just ushering Danny Sutcliffe back a little. This should be well within his range. Question is, can he get it on target? They're 2 points down. We're looking for the first score of the second half. Drops just short, and after a quick piece of decision making on the spot, Dara Perry let that run wide. Probably the wisest decision. No point trying to be a hero in that particular instance.
No, it's an interesting one from Judes for Danny's many talents. I would never have been sure free taking was one of them, and especially when you have a player like Fiona Breen on the pitch, is just he is a class free taker. So.
Well, one thing Danny Sutcliffe can do is turn a man over, and he's got a good sidestep as well, but his run there has been ended fairly quickly, and the Vincents men taking no chances. Danny Sutcliffe in full flight trying to weave his way through, but it was casual from Vincents. Sutcliffe is so quick. He's got such great wrists. He had that ball whipped away from the Vincents man before he even knew it, and the man who's been called across is, shall we call him your man, Owen, Mark O'Farrell, your tip for the top, the Vincents fullback. Again, no surprise, he was the man that shut the door.
No, he's a no messing kind of fullback, and sometimes you need that. Danny Byrne on goal, and you leave a late shoulder and take the free and concede the point. And I've been impressed with him so far. He's a big presence in there. He's looking to do the right thing when he gets the ball, and in my opinion, maybe fullback, most important position. Would you say now?
Yeah, I think Owen felt that was a harsh yellow, but
bias.
Maybe just a bit. Danny Sutcliffe with the free, and he was never going to miss from there, really. Danny Sutcliffe up to 6 points now. You can just see how much Judes are leaning on him for scores, and he still hasn't been anywhere near his best in this game. There's a lot more to come, you'd imagine. But time is of the essence now as well. We're 5 minutes into the second half. It's a 1 point game, and it really is there for the taking, this one. We as we said at the outset, Vincents were the favourites coming in. They're the favourites to get out of the group as well. But we could have a shock on the cards here. It's all up to Judes, really.
Yeah, if Judes can keep this pressure up and continue the style of play that they're playing, they'll be very, very close to come the end of the game. Just the worry is Vincents have such class that it only takes one or two chances to cut them open like they did in the first half, and a couple of goals might seal Judes off.
Alan Connolly looking to get it away from danger for Judes. Thomas Connolly, though, has been fouled. The Vincents wing back as he went for that ball with Kevin Lehiff. Lehiff was backing into him and impeding him. Well spotted by Peter Smith.
Yeah, James Mulcahy coming back. He'll be assisted by the wind here. And to be fair, there hasn't been a massive amount of frees. This is one of Vincent's first or second of the game, so Judes' discipline has been very good so far, and that's what they say these days in hurling, that with free takers so good that you may as well let them hit it over the bar if you're going to have a free, so you just want to just cut them out at all costs.
He's hit a goal and 2 points so far, James Mulcahy. The first goal, a couple of frees as well, but that was well wide. It was always actually headed away from goal from the minute he struck it. Just taking him, I suppose, a while to get his bearings with the breeze as well. So it remains a 1 point game. Puck out taken by Ross O'Reilly and gobbled up by Simon Gormley, the Vincent's right corner back. In over the top, looking for one or two of the runners. Keith Connolly ended up on his backside there. Referee saw nothing wrong with the challenge by Owen Grant. In any event, Judes have lost the ball on the way out, and this is Robert O'Sullivan scything his way through, but he telegraphed the hand pass. May have well have sent a tweet there to Owen McLaughlin. He cuts it out for Judes. Here's Kevin Lehiff, breaks the tackle, and that's a superb score from Kevin Lehiff. Judes go from one end of the field to the other, and they are level again.
Really athletic player, Kevin Lehiff. You could see the pace of him, and strong enough to burst through the tackle, take his point. And has to be said again, Owen McLaughlin for Judes, cornerback, is playing really well, getting a lot of loose ball, dirty ball, and doing the right thing, coming out with the head up and finding the pass. So these scores are going to give Judes massive energy to keep in the game.
Yeah, Owen McLaughlin is a player that we've spoken so much about in this game. He's obviously not going to get too many headlines in terms of scoring or putting scores on the board, but he is so clever in that Jude's defence, sweeping onto broken ball. He's also marking Rian McBride, and I suppose an emphasis or just to underline how well he's playing, Owen McLaughlin. Owen, we've spoken so little about Rian McBride since the game started.
Yeah, and Vincent's just in an effort to try and get him into the game, have put him in full forward here, which is an interesting one. Rian, another extremely athletic player. So not a completely natural full forward, but if he got the ball in there, he's so strong and fast, he'll definitely be a handful. So McLaughlin has followed in. McLaughlin is what all the lads call him, so McLaughlin has followed him in there into the edge of the square.
Well, there's no doubt about it. Rian McBride, with all his inter-county experience and big game experience, he's a potential game breaker, potential game changer, as James Mulcahy pops over his third point from a free. His eye in after that miss a little earlier, and now Vincent's ease ahead again. 2-7 for Vincent's, 12 points for Judes. Judes now hunting for an equaliser again, but that hand pass was overstruck by John Carty just ahead of Sutcliffe, as Vincent's have been given a free. Judes don't agree. That decision being contested fairly vigorously there by the substitute who's come on for Judes.
Yeah, and I can see why he's contesting, to be honest with you. I thought that was harsh enough that Danny got him with a lovely clean hit there, and Jude's player that we're just getting the name of here that doesn't go as far as 30, but we are probably feel rightly aggrieved by that free.
Well, this could get interesting because there is a number 30 on for Judes and he's not in the programme, so let's see how this plays out. We'll have to send perhaps an SOS out to try and put a name on him. But these things happen in the first round of the Dublin Senior Hurling Club Championship, and indeed championships all over the country. These late substitutes that are added to squads and sprung at the last minute, and here is no different, as back in the game, another score on the board for Vincent's, and their lead out to 2 now, 2-8 to 12 points. 10 minutes into the second half, we're in the championship quarter as it's known, and Judes with just a little bit of catching up to do right now. They've fallen 2 behind. Again, that middle third is a real minefield. Away with the ball comes Fionn Breen, and on his way through he's been fouled. Just Vincent's a little overzealous there in the tackle. Peter Smith let it go for as long as he could. Now free in, and it's Danny Sutcliffe time again.
Yeah, just a little pull in the jersey. Wasn't a massive amount in it, but ref was right to give the advantage and bring it back. But these scores are relatively cheap ones for Vincent's to be given away, and will keep Judes in the game. And probably the worry for Judes is that the scores for play have quietened down that they were getting in the first half, so small bit reliant on frees so far the second half. So all eyes on Danny Sutcliffe again. He hits it with such height, those long range frees, but this one has got the direction as well. He steers it between the posts. 7 points for Danny Sutcliffe, 13 for Judes, 1 between them again. Danny Sutcliffe right now operating closer to the Vincent's goal than he had been earlier, as Vincent's goes short with the puck out. Finds its way to Conor Burke, another of the Dublin County players, looking for Heatherton, who just overshot the runway there. He's been very tightly marked by Gerard McManus, and that's definitely curbing his influences. Judes again move the ball quickly. That short passing game is running. It's Lahiff to John Carty. Lovely hurling by St Jude's, and when they do move the ball like that off the shoulder and get the runners moving, very easy on the eye. Level again. Absolutely, and as you mentioned there, it's Jeremy McManus has been doing a great job on Hedgehow. It's no easy task, but he's been stuck to him like glue and been very tight in the air and everything. So Jeremy McManus is really influential for Jude so far.
And right on cue again, McManus got up there to contest the puck out with Heatherton to knock it away from the big number 12, and the break is on again for Judes. The man who's been released is Carty. Breaking off his shoulder is David O'Callaghan. The angle's tight, and that shot flashes just wide. It was a chance for Judes to hit the front again, to build on all that great approach work. Just wide. Yeah,
no, Carty might have taken his own point. Maybe thought that there was a half goal chance on there, but like we said, Judes want to keep the scoreboard ticking here and the energy high, so a missed chance for them.
So Dara Perry it is, this time trying out the right wing of the Vincent's attack, looking for Derek McBride. Not having a whole pile of good fortune down the other wing when he's tried to pick out John Heatherton. Man trying to make some headway here is Mark Sweeney. Back as far as Keith Connolly. Just look where the number 14 is now, as Vincent's try to move things around up front just to get that attack firing. Rian McBride just bundled off it again. It's just not going his way either, as Jude's warm to the task. Sutcliffe, he's the meat in a Vincent sandwich there between Robert O'Sullivan and Conor Burke. Sutcliffe fouled, and I think Conor Burke has spoken out of turn there, Owen, and the ball has been moved forward. I would say that's 13 metres plus VAT. That's probably closer to 20 metres it's been brought up.
Yeah, I think Danny had robbed a few before the ref even brought it forward, but you know, I get harsh free for me there, but Conor has enough experience now not to be mouthing back, and you know, Judes haven't had massive success from the free, so a free from the halfway line there mightn't have been a done deal, but now you'd imagine Danny be putting this over.
So Conor Burke spoke out of turn, punished by Peter Smith, and Danny Sutcliffe makes no mistake with the free. He was never ever going to miss from there. Man who has a Leinster Championship medal, of course, from his Dublin days back in 2013. He's been around the block, and Danny Sutcliffe starting to exert more and more of an influence as this second half wears on. We're approaching the second water break of the day. Vincents have just made another change. Oisín Lanigan is in.
Yeah, Oisín would have been on under 21 Dublin panels and is a very sticky wing back, well able to hurl, so very good substitute for Vincents to bring in.
Well, an update for you on our friend, the Judes number 30. It turns out he's number 20 in the programme, Manus Malone, but he's wearing number 30. Just trying to keep us honest up here, I think, in the commentary box, Owen.
Yeah, that's it. They must have known we had a difficult job as it was, but Manus, since he's been introduced, has been a handful in there. He's a very fast player and he's been chasing down every ball that's gone in.
So welcome to Manus Malone into the St Jude's attack. Down at the other end, here's a chance for Vincents, a chance perhaps for James Mulcahy, and that is his first point from play, and it was worth waiting for. Running away from goal, under pressure, juggled it into space and finished with aplomb, and that means we are level again. 2-9 for Vincents, 15 points for Judes, as Peter Smith decides to call a halt for 60 seconds or so. We will have a water break smack bang midway through the second half, and we're not a whole lot wiser, Owen, at this stage than we were way back at the very start. Let's take a quick look at the highlights from the third quarter.
No, cracking game of hurling so far. Both teams really up for it, bringing a massive intensity and work rate. That last score from James Mulcahy there was top class, running away into corner and just over the left shoulder, threw it over the bar. And you know, like, there's been the standard of hurling today has been very high. Both teams trying to move the ball, trying to run it into good position. So both obviously have a lot of work done coming into the game.
Well, James Mulcahy has certainly paid his way so far. 1-3, beg your pardon, he's up to 1-4 now for the evening. 1-1 from play, as down at the other end it's been really Danny Sutcliffe by and large that's kept the scoreboard ticking over in this second half. He's 8 points now to his credit, but they also had probably the score of the half so far from Kevin Lehiff as well. As we mentioned, it's when they get that running game going that they look very dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely, and you could see there Niall Carshi doing the same, running through the middle. Jules very athletic, a lot of pace, trying to get that man in the right position to shoot. So very impressive from Jude so far, and hopefully coming down the last stretch that you can see the class of the Vincents team that they're bringing on. Previous Dublin under 21 players, and Jude's mightn't have the same standard of player to bring on, so Vincents have fresh legs here.
Certainly St Vincents will be looking to go at least one better, if not further, than they did last season. Made it to the quarter-finals of the championship last year, losing out to Ballyboden St Enda's by 10 points on a disappointing day really for them. Judes, they failed to get out of the group last season, but what a start it would be to their 2021 campaign if they were to get off to a surprise win here. But the last quarter has begun. Don't forget, if you want to get in touch with us here on Dubs TV this evening, just use the hashtag GoAheadDSHA, and certainly no shortage of talking points, and you'd imagine the next 15 minutes or so will be something similar. This Group 2 really has the potential to throw up so many twists and turns, with Lucan and Satanta in the group as well.
Hedgehow taking this free, probably just slightly further out from James Mulcahy's range, and Hedgehow has been known to put these over.
Well, he's a big unit, John Heatherton. He puts plenty behind the shot, but it's away to the right. still remains level game.
Yeah, and they're the ones that if Judes do come out on top, Vincents will kick themselves that they've had so many wides and missed goal opportunities that, you know, they really only have themselves to blame. It's not taken away from a fantastic Judes performance, but by Vincent's own standards, they'd be looking for them to go over.
Bit of a ruck develops down here in front of us. Conor Burke it was who came away with the ball, but he was casual with the pass. That was good pressure by Diarmuid McLaughlin, and that provided the shooting chance, and it's been taken with aplomb. Well, that was good old school pressure, and that created the opening, and Judes lead again.
Yeah, and Diarmuid McLaughlin, I was surprised not to see him starting. He might be carrying a knock or some sort of small issue, because he's a very quick, fast-paced forward with a lot of hurling skill, and straight away has made an impact coming in. And again, Judes is a free here, and you know, things are starting to swing their way a small bit.
So Judes have the lead once more heading into the final quarter. Diarmuid McLaughlin introduced during that last water break. He joins Manus Malone in what's rapidly becoming a new look St Jude's forward line. But Danny Sutcliffe and Kevin Lahiff still there, still present, correct, and they are the main scoring threats as Thomas Connolly looks up. He's just, I think, pleading, imploring somebody inside to make a move for him. That's why he had to delay the pass. Now James Mulcahy seizes onto the loose ball. He's got the pace to beat the first defender, but he runs into heavy traffic in front of the Judes goal. The scramble defence, as it's sometimes called, they're kicked in very quickly for Judes. Shut down the space on Mulcahy, and now all of a sudden the play is out in the middle of the field again. Man trying to improvise there on the ground is the Vincent's cornerback Manus Glacken. Judes came away with the ball all right, Niall Carthy, but Peter Smith had already been in contact with his linesman on this near side. Ball had gone out over the line ball to Vincent's. But that was quite clever play initially by Manus Glacken, and I think you could say he played his part there in Vincent's getting the ball back.
Yeah, absolutely. Vincent's now probably would want to start tacking on a few scores that they've been fairly quiet in the last few minutes, and the Judes back getting on top by and large.
Ball runs all the way through to Keith Connolly, but he's made hard work of getting it under control. He had a couple of defenders there for company. One of them was Kieran Mangan. And once more, Jude's ball out of defence is good, accurate, quick, and Sutcliffe sprays it down into the inside line. Looking for the run initially of David O'Callaghan. Here's Lahiff to take over. But Kevin Lahiff never got that situation under control, didn't strike it cleanly. Another missed opportunity for Judes.
Uncharacteristic puck out there from Dara Perry, normally spot on with them, just wasted opportunity for Vincent to retain possession, and Judes again with this policy of the short sideline really working for them so far.
I can see the Kilmacud Croke squad have arrived here at Parnell Park, just getting their jerseys organised. That game coming up at 6 o'clock here on Dubs TV. Another game for you to enjoy in the go-ahead Dublin Senior Hurling Championship. The meeting of Coola and Kilmacud Crokes at 6 o'clock. Right now, though, we are focused on the final 10 minutes or so of this compelling game between St Vincents and St Jude's. Still very finely balanced. St Jude's leading by the bare minimum as James Mulcahy prepares to cut this ball in towards Rian McBride. It's been so quiet so far. Lays it off as far as Brian Bulger. Vincents need a score, and Brian Bulger has driven yet another wide.
And that's probably the disappointing thing for Vincent's, is that their standout players like Brian McBride and Hedgehoe and Conor Burke by his standards have been very quiet, whereas Jude's have really brought a fight, and that's another free, and you can see them fist pumping it, and there's massive energy down there. So Vincent's in big trouble here.
Certainly are. That was Manus Glacken who tripped Niall Carthy, or Fionn Bryn, I beg your pardon, on the way through there. And over comes Danny Sutcliffe just to take control of the situation. He's got a very tried and tested free-taking technique. He's had a mixed day off the frees. Some have gone for him and some haven't, and there is another example. Yeah,
frustrating for Danny. You can see him just look at the ground in frustration there. That they'd be ones. And when you're playing and get a free like that, you're nearly adding the score onto the scoreboard before it's taken. So when it goes wide, it can just sap the energy a small bit.
I think Owen there, speaking from experience, we had a Danny Sutcliffe free chalk down in the first half that got away, as it were. But no doubt about that one, it was well wide of the far post as Vincent's break quickly. Rian McBride bottles up again. It's that man, Gerard McManus, the Judes captain. He certainly has led by example. He's in the thick of it. Ball turned over though on the way out. Brian Bulger trying to barrel his way through. Keith Connolly, lovely ball. Thomas Connolly, Vincent's hunting a goal. Connolly just under pressure, off balance, didn't make good contact. He's pleading with the umpire that there was a foul committed, not given. Ball driven back in again with interest and over the bar. Vincent's get the point they were looking for. All square with 8 minutes to go.
Great passage of play there, massive intensity. Whoever came out on top, whether it was a Jude's turnover, Vincent's point was going to get big energy from that. And Oisin Lanigan has made a big difference coming in so far with a couple of possessions and a nice point there. But again, Tom Connolly, has to be said, has been the one Vincent's man standing out, that he's trying everything he can. And just on that occasion, getting forward didn't work out for him.
Well, you're getting to that stage now of the second half where you're starting to wonder, will we have a winner? They're so evenly matched and have been for much of this game. Sutcliffe looking to wheel out a party piece or two, but he caught a stray Hurley there as he tried to lose the defender, spotted by the referee.
Yeah, just accident. Just Hedjo went to tackle Danny, and the hurl was high and sore one for Danny. But another scoreable free for Judes, and as I said already, that's the trouble when you're not man marking someone like Danny. You have a mismatch that Hedjo had to come back to track Danny, and Hedjo wouldn't often find himself in the half back line and give away the free in a Judes point.
Well, Danny Sutcliffe gets his 9th, finds his range, and that's enough to put Judes ahead again. Vincent's making a change. That's Will Maloney who's coming into their team. And the man who's been replaced is Rian McBride. Well, it just didn't run for him today.
No, and you know, it's just one of them days for Rian. He's obviously a top-class hurler. We don't need to speak about the past performance he's had, that they speak for themselves, but just today didn't click for him.
So fresh legs and a new man up, a next man up for Vincent's, as it were. They're currently a point behind now and trying to dig out an equaliser, but once more that St Jude's defence, which has been outstanding, kick in. McManus to Mangan, and Mangan just clears his lines just to relieve the pressure. But the way they've worked as a unit and the way they have interacted with each other throughout the game has been really impressive. The communication's been good, their touch has been good, but on this occasion Vincent's do find a gap. It's a chance, and the shot flies in from Robert O'Sullivan, cracks off the woodwork and back into play. It's not the first time it's happened. Let off for Judes. Vincent's come again. Low shot from Sweeney. Breaks. Goal. Derek McBride in the right place at the right time to whip it into the Judes net. And what a time for Vincent's to strike for their third goal. Looked like Judes had done the hard part and cleared the danger, but Derek McBride, with opportunistic timing, finishes with the ground stroke, and now it's 3-10 to 17, 5 minutes from the end.
Yeah, that's what they've been threatening all along, and just great opportunistic and great place and peace of mind to be in the right place at the right time from Derek, and this game is certainly alive now.
Jude's break, Manus Malone blocked, smothered by Dara Perry rather, and out for a 65. Well, how quickly things could have changed again. It was a lightning quick break. The puck outs, we've said it all evening long, are coming so quickly from both keepers that in the blink of an eye, that goal you're watching just now from Derek McBride was very nearly cancelled out down at the other end by Manus Malone, but for a very good piece of quick thinking by Dara Perry in the Vincent's goal.
Yeah, and Judes had defended and kept him out, but it was just a bit like incoming tide. It was hard to keep out when there's a wave after attack. There, one or two are eventually going to find their way through, and that's probably been the standout thing for Vincent's, is that they're able to penetrate there and get the goals that Vincent's or that Judes haven't really looked like getting.
Danny Sutcliffe gets the scoreboard moving again. He's into double figures now, 10 points for the St Jude's marksman. And it is a 1-point game with 4 minutes to go. It really couldn't have been teed up any better than this. But how crucial will each and every one of those 3 Vincents goals turn out to be? One from James Mulcahy, another from Mark Sweeney, and the third a few moments ago from the Dublin under-20 of recent vintage, Darragh McBride. Didn't happen for his brother Rian today, but Darragh has certainly played his part, and if Vincent do get out of here with the win, that goal will be so crucial. They really were struggling for scores, struggling to come up with ideas as Mark O'Farrell drives it long. We've seen so little direct hurling from either side. This time Farrell goes long into the heart of the Judes defence, and after a very brief scare, Judes have tidied things up. Now, right now, they've got nobody in the goal as Ross O'Reilly made himself available for a pass that never came. Ball goes in the opposite direction, and Danny Sutcliffe takes over. The St Jude's playmaker turns into the tackle of Conor Burke. Needs support. Comes in the shape of Owen McLaughlin, but Owen McLaughlin's been robbed on the way out. Vincents have one man up, so the shot is going to be taken on by Darragh McBride from way out the field. A wild shot, really, looking to push Vincent's too clear wide of the target, and the game still hangs in the balance zone.
Yeah, a wild shot from Darragh there, and he did one similar in the first half where he tries to put his whole body through it and kill the ball nearly, whereas if he just took a small bit more composure, would have got 2 more points to his name.
Judes hunting an equaliser, and there it is, delivered with some style by Diarmuid McLaughlin, their second half impact substitute, and we're right back where we started yet again. 3-10, plays 19 points, and Vincent's really their own, only of themselves to blame.
Yeah, but like we said already, that Diarmuid McLaughlin is a class act, and we were surprised not to see him in the starting panel. So if it wasn't an injury and a team selection point of view, he's really making a case for himself the next day.
Well, that's a really impressive response by St Vincent's. They worked it to the shooter, John Heatherton, and what a time to get your second point of the game. He has been really marked out of it for long spells by Gerard McManus, but on that occasion he managed to lose the St Jude's captain, getting just enough time to get the shot off. Lovely score from the right wing, and that makes it a 1-point game. Vincent's lead.
Yeah, and that's a sign of a classy player, that you can be struggling in some circumstances all game, but then when you get your chance and in a difficult angle, you can take your score, and that'll give life back into the Vincent's attack. And it'll give Hedgehow that confidence as well to go for the next one, and coming into the last minute of normal time and extra time, you need him firing.
So 1 minute to go. Danny Sutcliffe yet again looking to be the man that delivers for Judes, and once more that free drifts away to the left and wide. He's cutting a fairly frustrated figure down here in front of us. Nobody knows more than Danny just how important those frees are, of course, Owen, and it just he's had such a mixed bag.
He's done some spectacular things from play, but maybe the frees just aren't working out for him as such. And just like I don't want to keep reiterating myself, but when you've players like Fiona Breen on the pitch who are maybe more natural or have more practice on them, might free up Danny to focus on his own game.
Change being made by St Jude's. Mark Maguire, number 19, is in for Kieran McLaughlin for the last few minutes of this game. We're now ticking towards additional time. In fact, we're into additional time, and St Vincent's are within minutes, moments perhaps, of a first round win, but they're just 1 point in front. So all Danny Sutcliffe and company need is one last chance to create another equaliser, and they deserve more from this, Owen, you'd feel, than a moral victory or a narrow defeat.
Yeah, absolutely. And at the end of the day, you need results on the board, and Judes have been really, really dogged in the way they've approached this game. So, they deserve to come away with something here.
The sideline cut falls towards Danny Sutcliffe, who wins it brilliantly in the air. Out to Gerard McManus. Can he be the hero? McManus, that's high, and that's over. Well, really, very few would have doubted Gerard McManus when he came onto that ball at pace. Sutcliffe it was who stood up when he was needed, played the pass, and McManus with the equaliser. Is it to finish all square?
Yeah, great leadership from Jared there. Left his position and wing back to make a run, and sometimes they don't even pay dividend, but he kept going, and Danny, great bit of play to give him the ball.
Derek McBride gets it out as far as Mark Sweeney. Here is the centre forward. It's Brian Bulger looking for what might well be the winner. In fact, instead it's another wide. He just hasn't been able to find the target, Brian Bulger, yet to score in the game, as Danny Sutcliffe claims the puck out, and he's been fouled. And there was a certain inevitability almost, Owen, about how this is all going to finish up. Sutcliffe on the ball, and Sutcliffe with a free perhaps to win it. Yeah.
And Danny, the type of fella he is, anything that happened previous to this won't even come into his head. He's such a strong mental attitude that he'll just take his time over this and be well prepared for it. And he's really come alive when Judes have needed him now. He's been under puck outs, he's been setting up play, he's been trying to get turnover. So this is a pressure moment, but if there was anyone on the Judes team to deal with the pressure, it's him.
Well, he's an amazing hurler. He's a once in a lifetime sort of hurler. He's got so much ability and skill and talent, and here he is striking this free. We're in the 3rd minute of additional time, and Danny Sutcliffe has nailed it, and St Judes are on the brink of a big upset in this first round of the go-ahead Dublin Senior Hurling Championship. We're all watching the referee, Peter Smith. Will Vincents have a time to come up with one more equaliser and come back from the brink? The shot is fired in by Will Maloney, and it's across the face of goal and wide. And was that their last chance?
A very difficult shot, Mick. You saw Brian Bulger in the corner with a similar one, and a kind of hit and hope. It might be better to hold on to possession, and Jude's in no rush to take this puck out.
So Danny Sutcliffe, I make it 11 points he scored in the game. Is he to be the hero? Is he to steal the headlines? Another great fetch from the puck out. He's got such a strong left hand. Lays it inside as far as the substitute, Manus Malone, to make it safe to shoot what's surely the insurance score, and over it goes. Judes timing their run to perfection.
Yeah, and that man again, Danny, just when they needed him to rise up and get the puck out in possession when they needed, and a nice ball into Manus, who did the rest of the work.
We're now deep into the 4th minute of additional time as Heatherton shoots from way out on the left wing. Vincent's composure just letting them down here in additional time. They've missed a couple of chances that they really should have put away.
Yeah, and it's just that word of composure. That 3 shots here in the last additional time out on the sideline. They're very difficult scores at the best of time, and just not what you need in that moment in time.
And still on we go. Peter Smith, the referee, telling Ross O'Reilly to get on with it, and his puck out again is so precise, right down on top of Sutcliffe, who claims it, but there's a free against St Judes. Not quite sure if it was Danny Sutcliffe or not who's been penalised for pushing, but Sutcliffe in the air has been imperious in the last few minutes as the ball is delivered in once more to the Vincent forward line, and once again it doesn't stick. And there goes the final whistle. And we have had an upset, a big upset, in the first round of the go-ahead Dublin Senior Hurling Championship here at Parnell Park. St Vincent's beaten despite scoring 3 goals over the course of a really good game of hurling. It is St Jude's who get the win.
That's a great game of hurling, a really fast-paced game. Jude's completely deserved in the end. Danny Sutcliffe man the match by a long shot. When they needed him, came into the own, puck outs, frees, setting up plays and doing the hard work. So Judes would be absolutely delighted with that. When they looked at the group, they'd be targeting games, and Vincent's was one they might have been looking for a performance, but to come here to Parnell Park and get a result is a massive victory for them.
Well, the highlights of the last quarter will make very pleasant viewing for St Jude's and their supporters, but not so much for St Vincent's. Here is the man of the moment, Danny Sutcliffe. As we mentioned, he left a few behind him, but by my count finished with 11 points to his credit after a typically impressive display. And when he was needed most, when the chips were down, Sutcliffe held his nerve. That was Derek McBride's 3rd goal for Vincent's, joining James Mulcahy and Mark Sweeney among the goal scorers. But in the end, it proved not to be enough, as St Jude's just found enough scores. 22 points. They put up a big tally. That was Dara Perry there coming to St Vincent's rescue. earlier in the second half, but that man Sutcliffe just kept the scoreboard ticking over enough. And heading into the next round and upcoming games against the likes of Lucan Sarsfields and Setanta, Owen, if St Jude's have any room for improvement, it will surely to get some other players to step up and take on some of that scoring responsibility. But as first rounds go and as first round wins go, what a start to the competition for them.
Absolutely, and that'll do them massive momentum. They'll be on a high. Training is going to be picked up a level. They're going to have good numbers, intensity, everything. That is going to be a career or a game defining season for Judes. And Vincents will be disappointed today, but they won't be too upset. They still have games to play, and their shooting efficiency was very low today, and I say that's what they're going to be going to the training ground to look out. That they had a number of chances, especially early in the game, to put scores on the board, which they didn't take, and they come to ruin the end. But Vincent's still a formidable team, and they'll be looking to make amends the next day, whoever they play against.
Well, it was far from a one-man show from a St Jude's perspective. That's Manus Malone, who came in off the bench and made such an impact, along with Diarmuid McLaughlin as well, while down at the other end, the St Jude's backline as a unit, so impressive, putting so much pressure on John Heatherton and company. And there are St Jude's going through their warm-down, going through their debrief, and already looking ahead, you'd imagine, to the second round. They are off to a flying start. They're up and running after round one here at Parnell Park. St Vincents, well, they finished second best, and they now have very little room for error heading into the second round. Well, hopefully that game has set the standard and set the tone for what's to come at 6 o'clock. We do hope you can join us for the next game, the second game of our doubleheader, the meeting of Coola and Kilmacud Crokes at 6 o'clock. Just to recap then, it's finished here in Group 2 of the go-ahead Dublin Senior Hurling Championship in a victory for St Jude's. They have run out winners in the end by 22 points to St Vincent's 3-11.